I'm gonna try this. All right, here we go, man. What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. I was just waking up, man. It's early for me.
Yeah.
I go to bed at like 4 o'clock every night, watching TV, playing video games or whatever.
4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Wow.
I go to bed. I play video games and watch TV all night, worried about my life and career. So that's about it.
You're definitely living that comedy lifestyle then.
Well, without the comedy, I suppose.
Yeah, right now, especially. Yeah. Hey, just some for my guests who are going to be tuning in right now and watching this. This is my friend, one of my great friends in comedy. His name is Harris Stanton. He's hilarious. I've known Harris for at least, it's got to be 15 years now, right?
Longer than that, man. Like 20. You met me in like 2001. 2002.
So, how you've been a comedian 20 years?
Yeah, I moved here in what was it, 2000?
Yeah, I'm probably at it like 23 years.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, I mean, I started in '99, but
yeah, me too.
I think I moved here in '99. I can't remember that shit. Damn, time flies.
And you came up here from down south, right?
Yeah. I was staying with my aunt.
Where down south?
Dillon.
Dillon. You say that like it's a state. Where the fuck is Dillon?
Dillon, South Carolina.
Okay, you just said Dillon. Like I thought maybe I missed the state.
No, I thought you knew that. I thought you knew the state.
Missouri, Dillon. I never heard of Dillon.
Yeah, no, I was under the assumption you knew the state.
Oh, yeah, South Carolina, and you were living with your aunt because, didn't you? You played baseball, right, professionally?
Well, I got drafted, and I went to college another year. And then the next year, I didn't sign with the Cubs, and then I went to spring training with St. Louis, and then didn't sign with them. So that was the end of that.
That must have been exciting, though.
Yeah, it was.
I wore my baseball jersey for you today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Are you a Mets fan?
Yeah. I wore it today specifically. I said, you know what? Let me just throw on my jersey. So this way you feel comfortable. So, do you miss it?
Yeah, of course. I play with my son, and he's in Little League, and I play it on the PlayStation all the time. That's what I was playing last night, MLB The Show. Do I miss it?
What year? 2020?
MLB The Show 20. I buy it every year since 2005.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's just the learning curve on that is so high because I suck at it. You know, I used to play back in the day, but you take like a 15-year gap and now you sit down and you try to play some of these games. And, you know, I get so frustrated. I just keep pressing the button harder and harder, but I'm not really moving any better.
Yeah, the sports games are a little different from action adventure games, those other video games. Sports games, the controllers, the buttons are usually the same every year once you learn how to play. And if you know how to play baseball, then the MLB The Show will be fine. But if you don't know how to play baseball, then it's just a baseball game that you don't understand. Like you don't know to take your pitcher out if he gets tired. You don't know to face a lefty with a lefty. Little people don't know that. They just casually playing the game. Like we know that because we know baseball. So
I'd like to think that I could on a coaching aspect. I wouldn't mind just being the coach.
Well, you are the coach. When you play the game, you are the coach. You're every player on the team. You're the GM. It's cool. I play franchise mode. I play all 162 games. It takes me about 4 to 5 months to finish one season. You know, I play.
Do you play the whole game or do you do the speed mode?
I play the whole game. I treat it like it's real life.
Really?
Injuries. I give my pitchers rest when they need it. I treat it like I immerse myself into that world like I'm the guy. I'm playing with the Braves right now. I'm playing with Ronald Cooley Jr. That's pretty fun.
Can you play just one player on a team?
Yeah, you can, but I don't like doing that because when you play with one just player, when you're on the field, like you only that player, so you have no control over the other 8. When you play like the whole team, then you control everybody.
Does that speed the game up to your time to hit?
No, it doesn't. You just be in the outfield waiting for a ball to come to you. from that view, from that vantage
Yeah,
point.
but doesn't each game then they take almost like, I guess you could speed it up. There's no
Yeah,
commercials.
each game's 45 to 50 minutes long.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a lot of time, man.
Yeah, so you have to allow yourself the time. Like today, I'll play from 1 to 2, or from 1 to 3. Most of the time, I'll just play an hour. I
Can
play
you
spring training too, by the way.
so right now you're in spring training?
Yeah, with the Atlanta Braves, which is necessary because you're learning all the players. I played different teams. Like last year, I played the Dodgers. If you don't go through spring training, then you'll start the season and you'll be getting used to your team in the month of April. So you could be, you need those games to if you want to try to get to the playoffs. You don't want to learn your team in April. Just
Yeah.
like real life. You don't just start playing.
Man, I got
I'm excited. I'm excited to play the next game. It's always exciting. I get mad when I can't hit or when I lose, and I'm always excited to play the next game like it's real life.
The best game that I play that I really I love is the boxing game, and they don't really make those anymore.
No, so I heard they're gonna start back.
Yeah, I know. I read that too because there's a lot of good fighters right now. But I went and I bought the old game, like the newest of the old game, like the last one that stopped,
the latest.
And I was having a nice time with it, man. And then that was like after Christmas last year, and right now it's like I don't have that. Especially back then, I didn't have that much time. Now I've had time, but I've been working this whole time with the corona anyway. I work in a building, like as a concierge a couple days a week.
You thought you was retired.
No, I was. I mean, I am retired from the police force, but that was a nice 2 years, man, where I just chilled out. And then, for whatever personal reasons, I had to get back. I had to get back to work. So I was working there. I was working in the police academy as an actor. I was doing this thing called CIT, crisis intervention. We would do scenarios on how to handle mental illness. And that got defunded after 5 years I was doing it. And that paid really well. I really enjoyed it. Plus comedy. So I was, kind of sort of surviving. And now comedy's gone. What do you think it's gonna come back? What do you think is gonna happen?
Well, I don't know what my expectation, my hopes is that the vaccine works well enough. Dr. Fauci said, 75 to 80% need to get it before we can kind of have some kind of, I guess, herd immunity or whatever. And I'm thinking, I'm hoping late summer, early winter this year.
Mm-hmm.
That everybody's pretty much vaccinated. I mean, right now it's hard. This just came out, so I figure 5 more months, 6 more months. I mean, that's enough time for them to get the vaccine now. I mean, that's just my hopes and dreams.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more optimistic than you. I think that I would cut that time in half.
Okay, well, I'm glad. I'm glad someone thinks different than me.
Well, I'm not saying just for comedy. I'm just saying business as a whole, because there's going to come a point where everybody will have had the chance to be vaccinated. So then at that point, it's on you. So exactly. If you give another month right now to whoever is priority, the older people, frontline workers, give them another month, because for some reason it's rolling out really slower than anticipated, right? Give them another month. And then it's going to be opened up, let's say, to the general public. Give that 2 months. Somewhere in that second month, so we're talking like 3 months away, there's people going to be noticing, hey, you know what? There's not a line to get your vaccine.
That's when I'm going to get it.
And then it's going to be another 2-week gap where there wasn't really much of a line. And people who own businesses, they're going to be waiting for the government to, all right, you got to loosen up the restrictions here, right? If the government doesn't stay ahead of it, people are going to just do what they want.
Yeah.
Because just like the flu, I mean, the biggest concern was, that the government wasn't doing anything. You know what I'm saying? Hospitals would be overrun, whatever. But if the vaccine's out for a certain amount of time and the people who really wanted to get it got it, and now they're coming in drips and drabs, I figure that should take about 4 months.
Okay.
So I'm thinking April, May. I think by June, I don't think we're gonna go into this summer the way we are right now. Shit, stuff locked down and half thing. I think it's gonna be indoor. It's gonna be open, or just kiss everything
So
goodbye.
yeah, yeah. So I like said, the clubs once like you said, at 3-4 months in, like the clubs will start having those shows where you got to sit far from each other. Because I did a show in Rhode Island 3 months ago
Mhm.
where it was supposed to be spread out, but it was just, I mean, if Corona was in there, somebody got it. But they did the shows. We did one show, two shows, one on Friday, one on Saturday. That was it. And but they had people in there, you know. So
Yeah,
I imagine, like you said, whatever month you said, that Gotham will be open in May for shows.
yeah. I'm thinking June. I'm thinking by
Mhm.
June. Yeah, I think it's imperative that the the government stays a step ahead, especially like with what's going on now. Who knows where we're going to be right now? Because right now, things got crazy yesterday. Wow, now,
I know I saw that.
yeah, man, that was crazy. But
Niggas
so
was jumping the wall and shit. I seen motherfuckers climbing the wall.
yeah, man, I'm listen. I never, I was never into politics
Me neither.
that much anyway. And we're living in a time right now where we're being forced to not only be informed, but then to also have a staunch opinion and fight for it. And I'm like, listen, I don't care. Take my tax. I don't care who's president, really. Just take my tax money. Leave me alone. I just want to
Right?
work on my things.
Yeah, me too. I feel the
Like,
same way.
but they require it's become a thing where they require so much attention. It's like a new show every day, like some game show that you got to tune into. I don't want to, man. I want to live my life.
Well, you know what, Mark? I don't. And you know what's funny? I'll go a week without watching the news, and then somebody go, "You didn't know that the plane crashed in LaGuardia?" Like what? I
Uh-huh.
do that on purpose because it affects me, and I don't want to. I don't want to fucking do that. I'd rather play my video game and have a happy
Yeah.
place up here.
You
But
have to.
I'm not an idiot. I do tune in here and there just so I can be informed. Then I go back to my own fucking world anyway.
Yeah,
So
I think they're requiring too much of our attention right now, and none of it that's coming out is any good.
yeah,
There's these people just pulling at your attention all the time, and I don't want to. I never wanted to be in that world. Like I said, take my tax dollars. Just leave me alone. You
yeah,
know.
I feel the same way.
So, uh, there's only a certain. I care about two things. I care about my brothers and sisters in blue, and my brothers and sisters in comedy. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's
Yeah.
all. So that's where I'm easy to figure out. That's where my loyalties lie. People are like, "Oh, how do you feel about this situation?" and "How do you feel about that?" I'm like, "Listen, they put cops in harm's way yesterday. Whether I'm a Republican or a Democrat, I don't. I believe I'm a law and order type of guy. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right,
I
right.
don't want you. I don't want you hurting police. I don't want police in a position where they're in fear because I was there. So when protest comes, I want. Listen, you got to protest if that's what you're into. Uh, I never
In your
protested
in your years in your years of work, did you ever deal with protesters?
all the time. I was in the task force. The
Right,
task
right.
force you would have fit right in there because that was all big cops. They used to do it different back then. Back then, if you had any size to you, it looked like you could handle yourself. Uh, you could put in to go to the task force because what happens is when you're in the precinct in uniform, right? You got to write a certain amount of summonses. You got to make a certain amount of arrests, and you got to answer the radio. The radio, people don't realize, is a big pain in the ass. It kind of sort of gets in the way from all the things you want to do. You're like, yo, you want to go to that store and get this thing? You hungry? And all of a sudden, this fucking radio is just like, car 91, you got to go over here. And like, ah, man,
Right,
the radio
right.
is annoying. So you could go to the task force and you're off the radio, basically. You're just there for emergencies. You make an arrest, you write your summonses. There's like a little quota thing, but for the most part, you kind of sort of in charge of your own schedule.
Oh, okay.
So, and all big guys used to. We have all the football players, the boxing team, martial artists, bodybuilders. That were all these big guys, and we used to go to civil unrest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was different back then. Like, I was watching those cops on the steps yesterday going backwards, like retreating, and I'm like, it just seemed odd to me, because when we used to have that it was called a PR-24. It was like a nightstick, right? And we had the World Cup soccer, 1994, right there on Roosevelt Avenue, Colombia playing Ecuador. There must have been 100,000 people out there, bro. And we get down there, and it's like 30 of us, man. Like, go get him, guys. And you just walk into a thing, and you're like, what? And the first guy you hit, everybody else goes, oh, shit. But not in English. They go, pero coño, ¿qué pasó ahí? Right? And then and meanwhile, that was Dominican. I don't even know how to do Colombian or Ecuadorian. I can do Mexican. Orale. You hear the first guy get hit, and everybody's like, oh, shit. And they just start scattering. And before you know it, and you're chasing after people, you're in your whole little area, and nobody's there no more. And then you got to go chase after them, and you just disperse block after block like that.
Wow.
Yeah, there was no cameras back then, but that's how you get rid of people. Half hour, you got like 20 blocks all cleaned up. All right, we're done. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? The good old days.
Yeah.
To watch people go backwards up
Sound like you.
That was weird.
Yeah. How many cops were going backwards?
There's a lot of stuff being said about, the lack of attention to security they paid yesterday, knowing that 100,000 people were coming. I guess maybe there's a conspiracy theory brewing that this was like a setup a little bit. It seemed like,
And why did they storm the Capitol?
I guess because they could.
Trump supporters, right?
Yeah. Well, the ones that actually did damage, there's also controversy about that. But also too, they've stormed the Capitol buildings in other states already. This has been an ongoing saga since George Floyd. They've been going around federal buildings and all around the country. But let's get back to some fun stuff. You travel around with Dean Edwards, right?
Sometimes, yes.
That's fun. That must be fun.
Yeah, it's fun. We're actually friends, so that makes it even funner. It's not like I'm working with someone who I'm not really friends with. You know what I'm saying? Like that can happen. That's happened. So you're not as comfortable. You're comfortable with your friend. So that's the same thing with Patrice. I was comfortable with him because we were friends, and I didn't have to worry about certain things as I did with Tracy. Even though me and Tracy were friends, it wasn't the same because he's crazy. And so sometimes when I was with him, I felt like I had to walk on eggshells, and he would threaten to kick me off shows and stuff like that. But going on the road with a friend, or not just a guy that you're opening for, is always better.
Yeah, I would imagine traveling with you is pretty easy because you're an easygoing guy.
Yeah.
You're responsible.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna go to overseas, man. I'm sorry that shit didn't work out, but I thought we was gonna get to go there together. I was excited about that.
Yeah, me too.
At least we got a deposit.
Yeah, I don't remember. Did I? I didn't get no deposit.
Yeah, you did. We both got a deposit. It was like $150 or something like that.
Okay.
$200 or something. Yeah, she gave us the deposit and told us to keep it.
Well, all right, I believe you. My memory's not good. But what's funny? It's like back to traveling buddies. Like I tend to travel a lot with Casey. Sergio Casey Aurora.
Yes, I know him. Yeah, I know him.
Yeah. And Sergio Chacon. Both guys, dynamite guys, but responsible.
And I've traveled with Sergio too. He's cool.
Well, I was gonna say on time. Sergio's sometimes he's on time.
Oh, okay.
Most of the time he's on time. But what's funny is that I'm the one. I'm pretty much hooking up the gig, and then I got to drive too because I'm the one with the car, which I don't mind.
Right. Right, right, right,
'Cause
right.
I'm like kind of sort of a control freak like that. Like I want to be in control of my thing. That's another thing when you find somebody to travel with, you gotta, like I said, you gotta sync up. If you're with somebody that's not jiving with you, like they either running late or they gotta stop, whatever it is, traveling with somebody is it is an interesting thing. You don't really
Right.
know people that well until you've worked with them at a job capacity, travel with them, or had to live with them
Or
for
live
a
with them.
day, a week or two. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You
but
really-
Patrice was always a stickler on time, man. He was like, if we was on the roll in the hotel, he said we're gonna be in the lobby at 6:30. He was there at 6:30 every single time.
yeah, that's the
As
way.
opposed to Dean, who we're gonna meet in the lobby at 6:30, he comes down at fucking 7 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
Which always annoys me. That's probably the only thing that annoys me. We meet in the lobby at say 7 and he'll come down at 7:15, 7-ish.
Uh-huh.
Which after a while is it's just like intentional, you know. You just not coming down on time. If it happens once, it's an accident. You know, if it repeatedly happens, this is what you do. You say
Uh-huh.
a time and you come down when you feel like it.
You know,
And so I'm sitting in the lobby
I don't
looking
know
at my
why, but
clock.
I'm obsessed with time. Like I'm
I don't see
always
why you have to be late. If you say 7:30, then that means it. Well, how long does it take me to get dressed and ready? It takes me 30 minutes. So start getting ready at 7 o'clock, and then you never be late.
listen, you're preaching to the
It's
choir.
not hard.
You're preaching to the choir. I'm obsessed with time. My whole life is about time. You know, my grandfather, he was in well, it was a work camp. You know, he was from Czechoslovakia. And
Okay, I didn't know that.
he spent from like 17 to 21, I think, in a work camp. And then my grandmother, uh, she was from Austria.
Wow.
I think over there, everything is like on time. Everything runs on like deep, and I think I got that from them
Oh yeah.
because
I think I got it from baseball, because especially something that I love to do. I
Mhm.
just don't see any reason to be late unless there is a reason. You know
Uh,
what I mean?
yeah,
Like 7 o'clock, if you got to go to work at 7 o'clock, then you're never late at work. Otherwise, you get fired. But with comedy, it's a little bit here and there, 5 minutes, you know, you good. But in a real job, if you came to work every day late, it's
mhm.
15 minutes, something will happen to you.
I find that a lot too with like for example, TV or film, or even when you're taping a stand-up set, they'll give you a call time. So I was getting a call time. I remember like that's when you realize you've been doing this for a minute. I'm looking at my call time is 9 o'clock. I'm looking at the sheet. My scene doesn't go until after lunch. So I call him up. I'm like, why are you giving me a call time when my scene's not until after lunch? First thing in the morning. Oh, well, it's our first time working with you, and we just want to, make sure everything's. I said, listen, I've been doing this for a minute. I'm just let me come after. I'll come at lunch. Okay, Mark. Okay, and you got to make that call because otherwise you're going to be sitting there and for 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not, the thrill of going onto the set. And once I get there, I'll check shit out. Be like, oh, this was cool. This is because the last time I did FBI's Most Wanted, they taped the whole thing. It's supposed to be in like this van that goes all over the country and looking for wanted people, and they got all their stuff, all their gear in this big bus thing, you know. So I get there, I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. Look, they open up the window to shoot through the window. Oh, this is pretty cool. But after like 2 minutes of that, I'm like, all right, let's do the scene. Let's go.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? I don't want to wait on a set for 5. It doesn't excite me anymore. I'm not
Right,
like, oh wow, oh wow, look, nah, man,
right,
let's
right,
do this,
right.
man.
I feel you. I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? I want to get back to getting partying or hanging out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Get the job done and let it be over.
yeah, man. So speaking of traveling, it was. Do you mind if we talk about the accident?
No, no, no.
You were traveling with Tracy Morgan. You were doing shows with him, right?
Yes, yes.
And on this particular show, you were for my audience. Tracy Morgan got into a car accident with other comedians. They got hit from behind by, was it a Walmart truck?
Yes.
Coming home from a gig in Atlantic City,
Uh,
Pennsylvania, right?
Delaware, Delaware.
Oh, Delaware. How was the
But it
gig?
was a casino. It was a casino in Delaware.
How was that gig?
Oh, it was great. It was great. Like most of the shows I did with him were great because you know, being who he is, the setup was always great. It's either theater or some big room with, you know, it was great.
Uh-huh.
Sound system was great. Yeah,
Uh-huh. So,
everything. Food's good. It's great.
and I'm sure you guys, so it was you, Ardie Fuqua,
Ardie,
Tracy
Uncle
Morgan.
Jimmy Mack, the tour manager. I think that was it in the car. Oh yeah, and Jeff. No, I said tour manager. Yeah, that was it. And the two drivers. There was a the guy driving, and there was a second driver just in case that driver got tired. I know Delaware, but we were back and forth. But he had a second driver for whatever reason.
And
So
you were in one of these, I guess it's like a stretch. It's not a
stretch,
truck,
it's
right?
like a sprinter. It was you remember like on party buses when they have bachelor parties, and
Uh-huh.
but we didn't have a pole in ours. We just had like just chairs and seats or whatever. And ironically enough, none of us was drinking in there, even though they had like a bar. None of us was drinking. We was just because we was drinking too, because Tracy was like on the wagon or stopped drinking. So, you know, during that time we didn't do anything. But back in the day, we would have been drinking, but we wasn't.
Uh, well,
You know, and
because
then Walmart truck we
I
was in
guess
traffic.
if Tracy's, if you're traveling with Tracy and he's not drinking at that particular time, it's you're doing him a favor. Like everybody has to know. All right, we're not going to be drinking around Tracy, right?
Right, yeah. And you know, at that point, what was I, 38? I had drank enough at the fucking venue, you know, so I didn't need to continue to drink in the. I'm not one of those guys who needs to continue to drink. I got my little buzz on after the show. Then I went home. Well, I was on my way home. I don't need to continue to drink.
Mm-hmm.
Only way I would have been drinking in that limousine if he was drinking, and I would have probably had something. But I'm not really a big continue to drink guy. I
Yeah.
drink enough till I feel nice, and I'm done.
All right.
Yeah.
And from what I remember about the story was that you couldn't really see. There was no back window, right?
Nah, there was no windows in there at all that I can remember. No. If it was, they were closed or whatever, but I didn't see nothing. I was just in a tube, and the van we was in is really nice. It was really decked out. It was really fancy and plush. So I didn't care what was going on outside. It was traffic. We were all talking, listening to music, having a good time. But you can see, like, you know how in limousines you can see, like, if you look straight, you can see through the window the road. That's the only thing you can see.
You know who would have been really impressed by that vehicle, right?
Who?
Women.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's not really much of a big deal when it's like five dudes in there. Somebody
Nah, nah.
their feet, somebody else is putting a book over here. Like, you know, unless you're watching sports, nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's some like to get to impress women with. I
yeah.
don't give a fuck
Exactly.
what I'm traveling in. You know, as a matter of fact, I'd really like to look out the side of the window if I could.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. The truck hit us, man. The back, and we was in traffic. It was moving around kind of slow. The traffic was kind of inching, and the guy hit us in the back. And he tried to turn off at the last minute and kind of clipped us, but he clipped us at enough speed to, you know, do some damage.
You had no idea it was going to happen.
No, it was just
I didn't know.
lights just went. Like I didn't get knocked unconscious. Everybody else did, except for the drivers. But the lights just went out and shit started bending and crushing. Felt like I guess the best way to describe it is like being in an empty Pepsi can and somebody like slowly squeezing it. It was weird. It literally felt like that. And it felt like I was the only one in that thing, cabin or whatever. And then when it finally stopped, I was still awake. I was like, oh shit, okay, I'm alive. And then that's when the rescue started. People was trying to, you know, Tracy was on top of me and he was pissing and he was farting, so I thought he was dying.
Really?
Yeah, he was farting. I could hear the pee coming down his leg. I said, Tracy, don't hang in there, buddy. He was moaning and groaning, but yeah, he went to the bathroom right after the accident on himself.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if he shit it, but he definitely farted a piss.
Yeah, because it knocked the shit out of him. Really, that's what
Yeah, exactly. Imagine getting hit that hard where your fucking your waist just go, fuck it, just go, come out.
There's different levels. It's like, okay, if you see a punch coming, right,
Mm-hmm.
at least you know what happened to you when you hit the ground, you got knocked out.
Yeah,
You know what
exactly.
I'm saying? Because when you wake up, you're like, I vaguely remember being in a fight and this dude hit me. That's why I'm here. But if
Right.
somebody blindsides you, you don't know what happened.
Yeah.
So that's scary. You're like, what just happened?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Very, very scary. Yeah.
And everybody got. I mean, Uncle Jimmy Mack died.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
didn't know him well, but I was on a couple of shows with him at the Uptown Comedy Club, and I remember him being just fun, charismatic.
Yeah, he was always a square guy, man. He wasn't one of those guys where people had something bad to say about him, He was always pretty cool. I
Yeah,
remember I remember one incident with Jimmy when he booked me for a show up. It was like in what was it at? It was about an hour away from the city, and I took the train up there. Jimmy drove, but the train stopped running. Jimmy drove me back to Harlem where I could catch the upper part of New York so I can go home. So I always remember that, like, he didn't have to do any of that. So he did, at this point in time, he didn't know me that well. This was like when I first started. So yeah,
where did he bring you?
back to like where I could catch a train back to Queens. He
Oh,
didn't take me home, but he brought me back to New York where I could get on the train. Maybe it was the Bronx somewhere. He brought me because where I was at, the little Metro North had stopped running. Whatever it was on the Metro North line, it had stopped running after the show was over, and I had no way home or whatever. So he drove me back to where I could catch the train.
yeah, that was pretty nice. I got news for you, man. When I first started doing comedy, I used to bring people door to door. I just felt bad, like I'm putting you on the train. It's like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. But after about a couple, 10, 15 years, I remember dropping this dude. He had a broken leg. He was getting out of my cast with a cast. And I just got off the where the Triborough. You coming off the Triborough right there in Queens in Astoria? And I
Mm-hmm.
just pulled over right there. I said, "Oh, don't forget this cane, dude. I get the fuck out." Like, you're on your own, buddy. You can get. I got to get home.
Door
Yeah.
to door. You used to just take me to Union Turnpike back in the day. You remember?
Uh-huh.
From New York Comedy Club, you would take me to Union Turnpike, drop me off, and I would take the train because that's when I was in Jamaica, Queens.
Uh-huh. Well, yeah. Well, Jamaica's another thing. That was pretty.
I was actually in Rosedale, so a little bit further out than Jamaica.
Uh-huh.
But that was good. We were a bit near a comedy club. You don't remember this. I see you looking, trying to remember. You just give me rides home to you, and I remember you always dropped me off at Union Turnpike, which is like, what, 4 stops from the last stop, Jamaica Avenue, something like
I
that?
remember driving Franz home, man. But Franz lived in Long Island, and
Yeah.
I don't know how he used to convince me to do it, man. I swear to God, I had kids. They were small. My son had a baseball game. I had to be up at 6, 7 o'clock to get him ready for the game. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't even know how he always would work me over, man. And it wasn't. It was like an extra. Come on, man. It's 10 minutes. It wasn't 10. It was 20 just to go there, to
Yeah.
extra, and then
Yeah.
20 to come back. So you're really putting me 40 minutes out of my way.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, hanging with Fran, it was worth it. In
Yeah.
hindsight,
And you know what's good about Franz? Franz will return the favor because he used to always take me home too, in that little Beamer he had.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
Remember
it's
that?
always good when someone will return the favor. I ain't gonna call no names, man, but I did a gig in Long Island one time, and on the way back, one lived in Brooklyn and I lived in Queens. On the way back, literally, the exit to my house was right there. He probably could just drop me off at the exit and I could have walked home, but he did not want to get off the exit and take me home. I think that's what he did. I think he dropped me off at the exit and I walked. I'm not gonna call it, but all he had to do was make a left. You said Franz said 10 minutes. This was literally less than that. But,
Yeah.
like I
It
said, everybody, we come across a lot of people in this business and everybody ain't so cool.
Yeah. Also, too, it's like how long. I guess like how long you've been doing it too. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, because also what you have to do the next day. I mean,
Yeah.
if you don't
Yeah.
have nothing to do. You know what I'm saying? And if
Why not? Yeah.
we're friends, I've been in situations where I hear somebody like asking people where you heading back to after the show, and depending on who it is, I just dip off. I'm like, I don't, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like there's certain
Yeah.
characters that
Like, yeah, like if we exactly like if we at New York Comedy Club, I don't expect you to take me to the Bronx if you live in Brooklyn. That's just ridiculous.
no, you'd have to be really hot for that.
Yeah. You have to be a girl. Yeah.
So,
I'm like, how many times have you took a girl home way out the way?
oh man,
One time I was in Brooklyn with this girl, and we weren't together. We just met and had like a social thing together. And this was like, damn son, it's deep in Brooklyn, and she lived in Harlem. I took her all the way home and came back to Brooklyn
yeah,
because I didn't want her on. It was late. It was like 12, and she had to go to Harlem. I was like, I'll just drive you. Then I get to smell you all the way to fucking Harlem. I get to smell your perfume all the way to Harlem.
Yeah, it's amazing that the hoops that we'll jump through just to spend a little bit more time with an attractive woman there. I've done
Yeah,
it,
and
man.
I didn't, and we never did anything. I just didn't want her. Just didn't feel right for this woman to get on a train and go all the way to fucking Harlem. After we've been had a couple drinks, it's 12.
Yeah, I mean, I've offered female comics a ride home,
Well,
and
this wasn't a comment. This was just like a friend. But yeah,
well, I mean, I've offered comedians ride homes, and just because it's late, how are you
exactly,
gonna get home? What's 10 minutes out of my way?
exactly,
You know what
exactly.
I mean?
But
Who wants to
some
get
people
on
will
a
not
train
do
at
that,
this
man.
time? And
Some
it's
people
just
will not do
out
that.
of pure camaraderie, friendship, not expecting anything. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? So that's what we do for each other. We're friends. Now,
yeah.
listen, don't get me wrong. If for some reason you feel the urge, you want to blow me, listen, I'm not gonna be like, nah, it's okay. I'll be like, listen, you do listen. I don't want to hold you back. You do what you got to do.
Right,
Here it is right here.
right.
But
Have
yeah,
you done any shows for Marco since this all started?
yeah,
Yeah,
not a lot. I mean,
huh?
I gave it back to him anyway. Any penny that I made through through the donations for the club, it's like he
Right,
gives me a spot, gives me $50. They close down. I give him the $50 back. It's just
right.
this whole thing is so messed up right now. This whole situation with this opening and closing, and that's another thing that's scary. It's like, how are these places going to open up again? Who's going to last? Who's going
Yeah,
to?
some businesses already closed, man. This is shop around the corner from my house, my apartment in my neighborhood is a nail salon. They closed.
How is
Yeah,
that possible?
huh?
I don't see how a nail salon closes. There's one over here in Queens that I go to.
Well,
Yo, they never closed.
first of all, this nail salon never had a lot of customers in the first place. Like every time I walk past it, there's always maybe one or two. Every blue moon, there might be 4 or 5 in there, but it was never really busy.
What kind
And
of neighborhood is this?
it was just a small nail salon, like right next to the Chinese restaurant. This Chinese lady ran. This Asian. I ain't gonna say
That's
Chinese.
weird, though.
Yeah,
That's weird because the ones over here in Queens, man,
yeah.
they
I guess they weren't doing good business.
listen. You got to wear a shower curtain, or they wrap a shower curtain around you. You're just sitting in there, but they're doing. I went a couple weeks ago, man, and you know what's funny is I brought my son and my daughter. My daughter got her nails done. My son got his feet done. I got my hands and feet. And when my daughter was done, like my daughter's sitting, we're not all together now. My daughter's getting her nails done over here. And my son was sitting next to me while we got our feet done. Now the lady comes up to me. I'm drying my hands, and she's like, I do your daughter. I do your daughter hand. And I'm like, oh, okay. Because I'm going to give my daughter the tip so she can give to the lady, right? And I said, okay, oh, okay. And then she was still there. When I look again, she's still there. She goes, I do your daughter hand. I said, oh, okay. I'm going to give her the money so she gives to you. Okay. You go see her. And then like I got up and I'm putting on my shoes and stuff like that. And she's following me all around. And every time I turn around, she's like, yo, I parked my car in my house. The doorbell rang. Open the door. She goes, I do your daughter hand. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? And I'm kidding.
Right.
This lady was following me all over the place because she wanted her tip. They get like really aggressive for the tip.
Yeah, dude, I see that lately, son. Like I remember growing up when tips were fucking optional and people just, walked away when you. Now they will chase you down.
I was gonna give my daughter the tip so she can give it to the lady. You know what I'm saying? I guess that didn't become clear. She just knew I was the one flipping the bill.
Right.
Yeah, she's probably waiting for me outside right now. I do your daughter hand.
I understand that, when you work for tips, that's you want your tip, but to walk outside, because this happened to me before, walk outside and go, excuse me, you didn't leave a tip. Oh, and I had genuinely, something had happened. I was distracted. I had genuinely forgot, and I gave him a tip. But if I didn't want to leave a tip, and you came out and asked me, I didn't leave a tip. No, I didn't. Okay, figure out the rest of your life. Why are you chasing me down for $2, $3?
Yeah, I never have not left a tip, and I don't think I've ever forgotten.
Yeah, I never not left a tip either. I'm pretty a tipper. And if I, and put it this way, me and Sheba had an argument before. Well, not an argument, but a debate before. Like, if you got $20, right, and the steak dinner is $19.50 after taxes, do you go to McDonald's just because you can't get this bitch a tip that you don't know? Or do you treat yourself to a $19.50 steak?
No, I couldn't do that.
You couldn't do it?
No. I mean,
you go to McDonald's?
If I know the person who's going to serve me, if I've been there before.
No, of course not. I wouldn't do that either. I'm talking about just let's say there's a restaurant and there's you. You don't know nobody in there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Like I gotta include the tip.
So that's good. You're selfless. You're very selfless. That's good. You go to McDonald's.
I'm just scared.
Huh?
I'm just scared.
You scared karma gonna fuck you up?
No, I need everybody to like me. And if I leave a situation and I feel like you didn't like me, it's gonna hurt my feel. I'm gonna feel like I messed up.
I'm gonna tell you what, Mark. I'm going to get a motherfucking steak. I'm sorry, I don't know you, Jessica, but I don't got $2 today, or $3 or $5 or $10. I don't got it. Right. All I got is me, and I only got one life, and I got 120, and I want a fucking ribeye with French fries.
I mean, realistically, those days, that's probably not going to pop up right now, especially with debit cards and credit cards.
Yeah.
And but if it did,
but when I was younger,
I'd probably go one down. I'd probably have to go for the burger instead of the steak.
Right.
If I sit down and I talk to the lady, I said, "Listen, I got $20. I'm starving. I want to have the steak."
You'll probably be fine with that.
Yeah,
you can still get the steak.
I would let them know. I said, "Listen,
conversation.
I'm not going to tip you right now, but give me your address and pretend like I'm going to tip you later."
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm a tipper. But you'll be surprised. There are a few people out there who they don't tip. But what I have a problem with is that everybody want to tip now. Motherfucker do my laundry, he want to tip.
Yeah,
when do the cleaner people get tips?
Oh, I went to the car wash, and the lady who's taking my cash has a plate there for tips. I'm looking around. What did you do?
You didn't wash my car?
No, I'm going to tip the guy in the front that my car goes in because he's seeing my car go in. I'm going to tip the guy on the way out that drives my car because he's
he's
what
working.
Am I to you for? Because you took my cash and gave me my change? I don't understand
that. Exactly. Yeah.
You know what? They usually put like a really cute, Spanish girl there. Like either they're always like Ecuadorian or something.
It makes you want to tip like who?
Like Guatemalan. They're usually like Guatemalans. Remember Mike DiStefano used to have that joke. You ever see the new? He goes, I don't know. Mike DiStefano used to say, "There's all these different type of Puerto Ricans." Remember that? He goes, they got new ones now. They're tiny. They're adorable. They're like this big. What do they call Guatemalans?
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
Rest in peace, Mike DiStefano.
Yeah, Mikey D was cool, man.
So they always put one over there. I guess, you suppose if you want to give her a tip because she was cute, you know what I'm saying? You give her a tip. But that was back in the day when they had remember they used to have the CDs there. You could buy the mixtape CDs
Right.
by
I don't understand.
the
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
uh,
And now that we're talking about tips, if a stripper gives me a lap dance and she shakes her ass in my face and I pay her for the lap dance, I don't understand why I need. I always give them a tip, but
uh,
why you did what you're supposed to do? What you need a tip for?
I know. Yeah, I guess. Well, if you go get a rub and tug, right? What is it? Well, what is it like $21 or $20 and $1 for the condom, right?
That's different. But if you're just dancing, I'm not. I don't
Oh,
think I should tip you for that.
back in the day, they used to have these places, man. It was $21. There'll be a line down the stairs of dudes waiting to get up to. We were talking about Guatemalan girls. Like there'll be like two Mexican girls behind these really thin. It was like one piece of that. What is it? What's that? The walls. What do they use
I
for
know
the
what you're talking about. Like what they use. Like I know what you're talking
sheetrock?
about.
Just one sheetrock wall,
Oh,
and it'd be like
okay.
waiting outside. And you go. They give you a nip. Remember, you get the nip.
I
A
never
little.
did those things. I never did that.
You like waiting in line to give you a beer. He give him 20.
Wow, that's hilarious. Where was he at? Where was it at?
In Queens, all over.
But what kind of building? Like it was just like a random
I
building.
never went. I just heard about it.
Yeah, right. How you know about the nip, motherfucker? You described it perfectly.
One beer in the nip. So, all right. So when this car accident happened, you were one of the luckier ones because you broke your wrist, you broke some ribs, right?
No, I just broke my wrist and I had bruised ribs, and but I have a back problem, chronic back problem because of it. Like my sometimes I have first I have a herniated disc, and then certain ways I turn or get up, it was really debilitating. But I did Scotty's Comedy Cove Saturday, and I sat on that stool for about 20 minutes. And I tried to get up to just to move around, and my fucking back gave. So I had to sit back down, and I yelled, and people looking at me like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Then I had to explain why my back was hurting. But yeah, I have a chronic back issue because of it.
Yeah, hopefully you won't need surgery, man. Those are like you got to figure out something to do. Maybe hanging. You ever try hanging? Just hanging. You grab. You know how you doing pull-ups?
Yeah.
But you're not doing pull-ups. You're just hanging. And you hang for as long as
you know what's funny. I go to the gym regularly, and all I do is calisthenics and cardio. And one day I was doing the calisthenics, I was doing a pull-up, and this had never happened before. I felt the pain even though I was hanging. Matter of fact, it had felt a little worse at that point. I'll go 3 or 4 days and won't feel anything.
I'm telling you, try the hanging, because what's happening right now is your disc, when they get too close together, that little sponge that's in there, if that thing is like wearing thin, you'll press on the nerve, and that nerve is what makes you feel like you threw your back out. It's like a sciatica. You feel uncomfortable, with pain. Hanging is really good for that.
Really? Okay, I'll try that, because I'm in the gym all the time. I'm actually going tomorrow. Today is my off day.
Just go and try to hang for as long as you can. You probably do like 30 seconds, and then do it again. That time it'll probably be 15, and you'll just build up until you're hanging for like a minute. And every time you go to just start off with that and end with that, and it'll really help you out a lot. Plus, it strengthens your shoulders, and it straightens your spine out. It's really good for you.
Okay. It'd be hard to do when everybody be waiting when everybody be waiting to get their rep in. I'm hanging here.
Yeah, I know. It is.
But now it's good because the gym is open. The gym is 2 blocks from my house, the Blink, and because of the pandemic, it's like the gym is mine and 5 other people.
Yeah, I've been meaning to get back, but the only problem is I can't just go to the gym like today. If I can't go tomorrow, I'm not going today. I need to see, just from the way that I used to train before, I need to see the path. Okay, I can go today, I can go tomorrow, I'll take that day off and I'll go. If I can see 3 days ahead, I'll go.
Oh, okay.
Like, I can go today, but I'm not going to go again I can't go till next Tuesday. I'm like, nah, I'm not going to. What am I going to do?
I understand that. But the way I would look at it is like, well, at least I did something.
Yeah, and you know what it is too. I also gotta once I get all my steroids lined up and I know when I'm gonna do it, and I got my. That's when I get.
Did you
If
just
I don't have,
casually say steroids?
no kidding. I used to know guys. They would never work if they weren't. If they didn't have a cycle to do, they would never work out.
Really?
They would only work out when they had their shit lined up. Yeah.
And why do you think that is? Why is that?
Well, it's twofold. First of all, if you've ever done steroids, from what I've heard.
Oh no, I thought you was talking about. I thought you was talking about guys were like you line up.
No, what
They
I'm saying
can't.
is that if they didn't have their steroids,
Oh, okay.
they weren't going to the gym at all.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I got my cycle, so now I'll start. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because from what just from testimonies, like working out off of steroids is a big waste of time. Like that, as far as because they know what it feels like to be juiced up, to feel like good. So they don't want to waste their time. And once they go hard.
It's kind of like you're not gonna do cocaine unless you're drinking.
I don't even know how how can you do cocaine and not drink it? I've tried to figure that out many occasions. I can't.
Yo, Hannibal Buress had a funny joke about how he said how he stopped drinking, or he's on the wagon. He said, I stopped drinking, which is the good news is, and the bad news is I feel all of my cocaine now.
Yeah. Yeah, he nailed it. Yeah, he nailed it.
That was funny. Yeah, you're right. You can't.
You'll be up now it actually works. You'll be up all night.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's kind of ironic that people do that. Take that one. I've heard that about that too.
Yeah, I've heard these things.
So after the car accident, like I said, you were the lucky one. Obviously Jimmy died. Tracy was all messed up for a long time. People didn't know what kind of life he was going to have. Ardie was messed up too. Ardie had some brain trauma.
Yeah, they had to re-break his femur.
I don't even know where is that, the femur?
The femur is that fucking bone in your thigh, that main bone in your thigh. Oh. Yeah, that shit hurt.
I don't even know how they do that.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it either. But
how would you even break that bone, man?
If you break that bone, that will you probably gonna be unconscious because of the pain or whatever, the shock or whatever. Because that bone is a lot of flesh before you get there. It's not like an arm, or a rib that's kind of sticking out of your skin. It's easy to break.
No, that's horrible, man. That's unusual to break that. That's have to be tremendous trauma.
Yeah, exactly.
But all right, so real quick, because we got less than 10 minutes to go here. You got everybody. You got a settlement. You probably got the smallest settlement, right?
Probably, yeah. But I don't know what everybody else got. But more, probably. Well, actually, no. The drivers.
Really?
Yeah. They didn't even get hurt. They was helping people They was helping people get us out the car, but they got something too. Yeah, but they give you the settlement, and then I got a financial advisor to help me try to keep the money, because if you get that type of money, man, and you just spend it, it could be gone in a few years. You don't realize that,
right?
Huh?
You would have already spent it, right?
Yeah, if I didn't, I'd have been dangerously close to already spending it. Yes.
Yeah, like every time you see something right now, you're like, damn, if I had my money right now, right?
Yeah, dude. Exactly.
Every time you see something that you said, man, I wish I had my money right now, you should write that down, and I bet you would see, like, yeah, it would be gone.
Yeah, absolutely. If I went, and people do that. Matter of fact, my lawyer told me that he won this girl $1 million one time for whatever case she did, and in 6 years she was homeless.
How long?
6 years she was homeless.
Yeah, well, I don't know when that was. $1 million. It's like, if you ain't gonna do nothing, you don't have any other income coming in. Like, maybe if
it'll go.
Like, for example, if you just put the money, like, let's say in the bank, and they say live off the interest, I think if it was $1 million, you could, because the interest would be somewhere over, I don't know, 60, $70,000, let's say, maybe $80,000 interest a year, right? Something like that, maybe 100. It can't be
I don't know.
100. It can't be 10% interest. It would probably be six, and that's kind of sort of what you're living on anyway. The average person, like, who's not a professional, is probably going to make, if you're lucky, 60, $70,000. So you could probably, but then again, why would you live like that if you knew that you couldn't? So you're like, hey, I'm gonna I want $50,000 on top of that
Exactly.
every year, but you're not putting back in. You don't have any other source of income, and then everything's gonna pop up because first you're gonna get a place to live, buy it outright. You got a nice car. What'd you get? A Jaguar, right?
No, Audi.
Oh, an Audi. You still got it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Same one, or you
Still,
traded it in? You got a new one?
no, I still got it. Still got it. 56,000 miles on it.
Oh, good. Yeah, that car was nice. We went for
Yeah,
a
like you said, man, it's like it's a slow drip, man. And then one thing you know people don't realize either is that you got the money, right, and then you can afford that, but you really can't. You know what I mean? You'll go buy it, and then but you won't make the money back. So it's stay taken from your money. So you have
yeah.
to
I mean, you
invest
need,
it or work.
obviously people are going to, once you get the money, you got to say, okay, well, I'm going to upgrade my vehicle and my residence. And then after that, yeah, if,
That's it.
because one thing with us too is like, we're going to make money unless some crazy thing like the COVID.
Pandemic.
Now I've
Like
been
a
doing
global
this for over 20
pandemic.
years. This is my job. And don't forget too, there's no pension in comedy. There's no health insurance in comedy. There's no life insurance in comedy. You know what I'm saying? Like all these things have to be prepared. You got to get a life insurance policy. You're going to have to cover yourself medical. That in itself is very, very expensive. You know?
Well, you know what? I think some of us tend to forget too, even me, that in the beginning, when you sign up or when you decide to go for a showbiz career,
Mhm.
there is a chance that you're not gonna make it or you're gonna flop and you're not gonna make any money at it. There is still that chance. Some make it, some don't. So you got to be prepared for that.
Yeah, but the worst part is that, let's just say you're making 60, $70,000 a year. I'll even give you $100,000. I'll give you're making $100,000 a year doing comedy, which there's a big gap between the people that make $50,000 a year doing stand-up and make $100,000. $100,000 is nothing. It's nothing if you have a family, if you have any kids. That's what you're supposed to be making. Plus, you still got no health insurance, so you're not really making $100,000. You're really making like 75 now, because I'm going to take 25,000 off of that to pay for your health insurance.
I know a few comics in that bracket, where they make $100,000 and they got a family and all this.
It's
So
not a lot of money. It's not. Listen, I made well because I got a pension. I got a job. I was working in the academy plus the comedy and the acting gigs.
Yeah, if you live by yourself and no maybe one kid, you good.
Well, I was paying for 2 kids in college too.
Oh God, yeah.
So
did any of your kids get a scholarship for anything?
yeah, they got scholarships, but they're like small academic scholarships.
Yeah. I got a partial baseball scholarship.
Now my son finished. He chose to go the academic route because he finished pretty high score coming out of high school. So the academic scholarships were going to outweigh the.
Yeah.
My son could have probably been really good at any level of baseball. That's what I truly believe, because he was a pitcher, and it just seemed like whatever level he played, he was doing better than the hitters.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I always think of him like a Glavin or a Maddox, not the big, because we're 6'4", right? My son's like 5'10", 5'11", but he's playing catch with my son, I can't, because it hurts my, like, even when he's like, and I would imagine that's what it's like playing with you too. People don't realize that when you played baseball professionally, or even on a collegiate or a high school level, the way you throw the ball, just like that, that thing comes, and if you're just playing like for fun and stuff like that, and somebody throws the ball at you, like, oh man, yo, but you don't
And
realize you're doing that.
every once in a while when you're playing catch, you want to air a few out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it hurts.
Yeah.
if you don't catch it right, or your glove don't have a lot of padding.
In the web.
Yeah.
You know, because in the beginning of the corona, we would go to the park and throw the ball around. There was nothing really to do. So I would go, and sometimes my hand would be hurting so much that I'd try to catch it in the web, and I would miss it on purpose because I don't want it to hit this part.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to get in the web. If I'm not getting in the web, I don't want to hit it to, because, you know, the first couple of times you get one like that, you know, all right, I could deal with it. But now it's like the 15th in a row. Now your hand.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes, you know, you will wear that batter's glove under your glove just so you can get some kind of padding.
I didn't have that.
You didn't have no bat glove. But it don't. But that'll start hurting after a while. If you keep getting them motherfuckers in the palm, that still hurt. You need to have a good glove. My glove is old, man. I had this glove since I was in high school, so it's really thin. So my son doesn't throw that hard yet, but when he does, I'm gonna have to get a new glove because that shit is.
All right, I got to finish off with what I like to do now with my segments here. My one-on-one segments is we have we'll close out with Ask a Cop. So since I was a cop for 20 years in New York City, and I want to tie this into my my Patreon customers, this is like exclusive content for them, these one-on-ones, introducing them to my comedy friends. I tied into law enforcement by asking my comedy friends. This is your opportunity because a lot of times I get these questions and they're really stupid. And I tell other cops these questions I get, and they get their own stupid questions. So we compare stupid questions. So I'm just kidding. Some of them are good.
Question you've heard a million times.
Go ahead.
Do you guys ever give people tickets and they didn't do anything wrong? You just need to fill your quota. Is that real?
I don't know. I've never done it. You know, I mean, you know me for a long time right now. That's how we started the show. And I'm not that type of person. I hated writing summons, just as a matter of fact.
I got a ticket, a speeding ticket in the pandemic on that damn, I never really take this tunnel. It's like probably the second time I ever drove through it on the east side of going about 34th Street. And I guess the cop was sitting outside the tunnel and I couldn't see him. And I was the only one in the tunnel. I might have been going 2 miles or 3 miles over the speed limit. Mm-hmm. And matter of fact, I didn't think I was going so fast because when I saw him, you know how when you see a cop and you know you do, and you know you speed, you gotta go, ooh, let me slow down. I didn't even have that feeling, but he just pulled up behind me and gave me a fucking ticket. I'm like, he just wants to give someone a ticket.
Yeah, I guess probably had to. Well, that's what he's doing there. I mean, this is the psyche behind it is, let's say I'm doing overtime, red light overtime, and I have to write 10 during this red light overtime shift, right? I'm going to try to write my 10 or get them right out of the way. Why? Because then I have the rest of the freaking tour for myself to do whatever I want. I got my 10, right? Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah.
Nothing that says that you got to space them out. 2 in 1 hour, 2 in the other. I'm going to observe right now. I'm going to get them out of the way, grab something to eat, go chill out at the command, put them all in the book. You know, I got my 8 hours. So could you have gotten flaked? Yeah, absolutely. But a lot of times, especially now, we don't even know what the freaking speed limit is. I mean, some places it's 30 now, some places it's 25. I've become very conscious, like I don't go over 25 in the street anymore, not because I'm scared of getting pulled over, but because I'm scared of these cameras.
Yeah, the cameras.
And, you'll get that ticket at home, and they were piling up. I was getting like 2, 3, 4 a month.
Yeah. I started getting them a lot too, but I started getting them a lot in the same places in Brooklyn, so I kind of knew where they were at. But I wasn't getting them in the city. I was getting them in my neighborhood.
But they pop up. You don't know whether this new camera is going to pop up, so it just behooves you. Just do the 25, no matter what. I get people behind me sometimes, and they're like, either up my ass or like give me the beep beep. You know what I'm saying? So I can. And I'll get out of their way. You go get your ticket, man, because I'm not I don't know where I am right now. Sometimes you'll be in a neighborhood that you don't know where the cameras are.
Right.
32.
Absolutely.
You did
Yep.
32 in a
But the
20.
good thing about those is they don't put points on your license like them speeding tickets.
I know, but it's still, you still got to pay.
Yeah, you got to pay, but I'd rather pay because I mean, one time I got 2 speeding tickets in 2 years, and I was at the court, and the judge was like, "Tell me why I should suspend your license." I'm like, "What?" I didn't even know I was even in danger of that even happening. So and I cannot get my license suspended. I need that.
Yeah. Well, they got you, and driving has become, I don't even want to say a privilege anymore. I mean, you talk about a city who's down on the luck like New York. Who do they go after right now because they have to recoup all this money? They go after the drivers because you're the privileged. You have a car.
Yeah, but
I
that
think
dude got
that's
me.
right.
I mean, that was when the city was shut down too. So there was nobody on the street. I was barely going a couple miles over the speed limit in that tunnel. And he got me, man.
Set up these cameras. Like there's one set up right off the Cross Bronx Expressway when you get off on 3rd Avenue, right? So you know anything about the Cross Bronx Expressway, you're not moving at all there. It's most of the day. When you finally get off there to take this 3rd Avenue bridge, you're pissed. You're like, boom, boom. And God forbid that light is green. You're going to try to make that light. Now you're doing the whopping 32, 33 miles an hour, because I'm not talking about going 60.
Yeah.
Off a standstill, you get a chance to put your foot on the gas. Next thing you know, you're going 32 miles an hour. So either they got you at the speed one or taking that light because you just, and that they both suck. But either way, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy day. Your busy day. I know you got to get back to the because you're in the middle of spring training.
Spring training with the Atlanta Braves. I just finished with the Washington Nationals. I won the World Series, by the way.
You did?
Yeah, it's really hard. I be getting frustrated, man. It seeps into my like my attitude. An hour after I finish playing, my son asked me a question. I go, what do you want? But I've realized, like, I'm still mad about this fucking.
How old is your son now?
11.
Oh wow, that's great.
Yeah, right now he's in school, so.
Yeah, I used to get that way with the video games too. I remember when my son was small, and he'd be playing over here, and I could look at, he wanted a little bit of my attention, whatever. I'd be in the middle of a game, and I'm like, what? Like, and then I realized, and the day I stopped playing the games was when I was playing my son. I think we were playing basketball, or maybe it was football. He was like 4 or 5 years old, maybe. But he was getting it, but not obviously as good as me. So I beat him. Like, I'm not going to let him win.
Right.
I let him. So, and he started crying. So I can't play no more because I'm not going to let him win. He's got to earn it. And I shouldn't I don't want to make him cry.
You can play the computer. You didn't like to play.
I pretty much just stopped playing at that point.
Yeah. I had stopped playing for a while. And one day my wife bought me a GameCube, and that's been gone. And I don't know if I ever would have got back into video games, but when she bought me that, it was over. I've been playing PlayStation, Xbox. This was like 2004. So
I got an Xbox last year, the Xbox One. I think I might download the.
You got the Xbox One already?
Yeah, I got it last Christmas.
Oh, really? You didn't get the new one though yet, did you?
No.
Oh, last Christmas. This was 2020 Christmas, right?
No, yeah, 2020 Christmas.
Xbox. Okay, you got the new one. Yeah. I'm waiting to get the PS5. I'll probably get that in the summertime sometime.
I think I might that punk rock game. What is that? Punk City?
I heard about it. Cyberpunk or whatever. I never played it, but I heard about it. I only play action adventure games in the baseball game, like God of War. I love God of War. And Assassin's Creed. I play stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. All right, brother.
All right, man. What you gonna do the rest of the day? What you gonna do the rest of the day?
Shoot me your what am I tutor people with comedy. So I got one tutor, then I got another tutor, and then later on I got my own podcast with Bill at night. So I got 4 hours of this today.
Okay.
Text me your address and I'll send you a DA card. So this way, if you get pulled over, you could unless we.
All right. Definitely, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this way, hopefully you don't get another ticket because we don't want you to lose your license. Then who's gonna drive that pretty Audi?
Yeah, man. All right, brother.
All right, peace.
Peace.
I'll talk to you soon, man. All the best. Good luck.
Yeah, you too, man. Love you,
Maybe we
man.
get a chance to work together again soon.
Definitely, man. Definitely.
All right, later.
Right.